Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining in again. For those of you who don't know me, I am Afif. I take care of product management as well as design community here at ProApp. And today, for the first time in August, we are here to discuss about something which is very crucial, yet often overlooked by a lot of people because designers ignore resumes while focusing mostly on portfolio. And while portfolio is absolutely crucial, it is also very important not to have a disappointing resume. So the perfect resume for designers can make an impression on potential clients and allow you to stand out in such a hugely competitive market. I mean, whichever field you work in, a first-rate CV is vital to stand the chance of a job interview. I mean, it's very obvious. So that might seem more true for those just starting out in the business and looking for, let's say, your first job. But even seasoned pros with, let's say, bumper portfolios will often need to present a resume when applying for a new position because that's like the bare minimum. So yeah, that's what we are here for today. And Sandeep himself has curated something very interesting around this topic for us. A little bit about Sandeep. Sandeep is a passionate product designer who is only with like who has more than 2 years of work experience, and he has developed a keen eye for aesthetics and well-designed solutions. So he has also done freelance in the early days. He worked with clients from different sectors like e-commerce, IT, security, and so on. So he is a design mentor for aspiring designers and beginners. He mentors on ADPList as well, and we plan to have him soon on ProApp as well. So yeah, Sandeep, I think that's enough of me, and over to you.
Hey, thank you, Arthur. Hi, everyone. Good evening, and thank you so much for joining on in a weekend while everyone else is partying, maybe, and you prioritize something over others' priorities. So it's great to start. Let me share my screen. So let's get started. So I'll also as Afif mentioned, I'm a product designer. I've been doing design for the last 2.5 years full time, and earlier I was doing freelancing. And apart from my 9 to 5 job, I also actively volunteer with the design communities like ADPList, Friends of Figma, and Lotifiles India. So this will be our today's agenda. We will see what is a resume first, okay, and how does a good resume differ from a normal resume that everyone have, and why we should have resume in the first place. And as you all designers know what is an information architecture, like from top to bottom, how we consume content in a way, and then why do you need a cover letter and what's a cover letter? And you might have heard of this term called ATS friendly design resumes, ATS friendly templates, ATS friendly resumes. Like we will see what is an ATS, and then do's and don'ts, because like when you apply for a company which uses an ATS systems like in their hiring process, so you should know what are the do's and don'ts in your resume. And then tips and tricks to stand out, like how like in a crowd of like 1,000 people applying for a job, you should know that like 10 like to be the top 10. And then my resume, and then I'll show you what's my resume journey, and then essentials to have on a resume, and then we will see the tools that you can make use of in order to build your very first resume. And at the last, like as an essential tip, like I think I added in the last one, that's a typo, like it should be 12. How to search for a job. Like you might think like, okay, it's easy. Like you find company on a LinkedIn or like come across some friends saying which company you should apply for, and then you start applying for it, right? It's not that simple. If you really wanted to get a different outcome, you should try some different inputs, right? So then we will see how to search for a job. So yeah, first we will see what is a resume. Basically, just an overview of your professional qualifications, your education, skill sets, what are the highlights in your journey so far, your accomplishments. Just a log of data within a specific timeline and duration, so that like the recruiter can get to know how they can make use of your energy and knowledge in their company. That's a basic resume. Okay. Like if you're not in the room, like who will be explaining about yourself is just a resume document, like which helps me understand what type of person you are, like in general. And then how does a good resume stand out from a normal resume? Everybody have a resume, right? Like straight out of your third year or fourth year of your college. By the time the college says you have to start getting an internship, like you might be wondering, okay, we should have a resume because like that's then a basic document anybody will expect in a company. But what is a good resume? So basically, a good resume is an advertisement of yourself. Okay, you tend to advertise yourself as a single piece of document which conveys about you like in less than 40 45 seconds. It should look like an the reels you watch, like the Instagram post, which gets you hooked for the very first 5 or 6 seconds, so that you continue to read on the post, right? Similarly, in the first 45 seconds, I should understand about you, who you are, what you do, and then easy to make decision. Like you shouldn't be like confusing me. So when I look at a designer's resume, I should get to know what type of designer you are. I don't want to see, okay, you design like user interface, you design graphic designs. So you shouldn't confuse the like the user. Basically, you have to treat your resume as a product and then see like the recruiter as a user, and how you can make your resume as a better product. Like start considering like taking anything that you produce as a product, so that you will make the better experience for what you offer to others. So here your end user is a recruiter or employer. So you're offering your resume, see like how they can easily make decision out from your resume, and then display your tribe, like what type of person you are. Like, are you a go-getter? Are you an individual contributor? Are you a team person? Like what type of person you are, like convey it to the recruiter. Secondly, it should match with the need. So basically, when we take one resume, we create one resume, we build one resume and apply it for like 10 to 15 companies, and wondering why nobody is like asking, like replying you for your resume, right? So like if you say like you have to create a resume, in my personal opinion, you have to create a resume for a specific organization, for a specific role. You should have a resume as a product designer, like a junior product designer, or you should have a separate resume as a junior UI UX designer. There's a huge difference being a junior product designer and junior UI UX designer. Okay, it's better you should create a resume that exactly matches with the organization's requirement and the roles and responsibilities. Okay, and then focus on a specific position, and then prepare for a specific company. And it also should pass the ATS. So ATS we will see in detail. Basically, it is an applicant tracking system. Back then, like 5, 6, 7 years back, like most of the companies in India, like they have the HR to manually filter out the resumes that they get in. Either like people walk in and then give the resume, or else like send it as a mail. So HR basically download it in the form of a PDF and then put it in an Excel. Who are the ones that are passed to the next round, and they'll send it to the hiring managers. It was back then. Maybe it was like 10 to 50 resumes like the HR will be doing. So nowadays, like companies are getting like like thousands of resumes, like in 2 weeks time period. You can see like in LinkedIn, 1,000 other people applied for this role. So which means like, do you think like they have the resource to have like so many HRs to manually verify this resume is a good fit for us, we can proceed with the next round? So they use a tool called like ATS. There are multiple tools available. You might have figured out like when you go to any career page of a company, you get to see it takes you to some other product like jobs.lever.com, some other a product website, and there you get to fill out. Okay, that's the interface for the ATS application. You fill in your details, it goes to the system, and there the system like filters out like whatsoever HR does in like 3 to 4 minutes, it will take it in 3 to 4 seconds to do that. And then your resume should stand out as a designer. Make it as like a one simple one-page resume, like within short, like how minimalistic you are, you can be, like convey the information. It should be in the desired format. If the company is asking in PDF and you are sending it in JPG, Word document, something else, it doesn't make sense at all. And then you should be very honest in your resume, because you don't know how the questions would be. Like whatsoever you mention might turn against you in the interview. And also it should spark a conversation. For example, when I say something, I'm interested in trekking. Okay, who you wouldn't know, like maybe the interviewer is also interested in trekking, or he also does the trekking part, and he'll be interested in asking like what type of trekking. Then you say, no, I'm dreaming about doing trekking one day, so I just put it in my interest. So that doesn't like feel good on your like appeal good on your resume. So it's better you have it as an like something honest, and you can also talk about in the interview. And like, do you have any questions so far in the what is a good resume? Oh, okay, sorry, I will try to talk slow. It has been there for long, so I will manage it. And any other questions specifically uh, in understanding from a resume and a good resume? I think you can see the difference, right? Everybody will have a resume. So everybody has this document, okay? But how many of you have this like a good resume? So that's the question you should ask yourself. And most importantly, like you might have the recording as well, but try to take some important screenshots that you want to, because you need not go and watch the entire recording again. So if you like feel like important, like you can also let me know. I will show the screen and you can take a screenshot of it. So resume and CV is like a complete journey. Like you start from everything, you go in detail. CV like almost like outside US, like mostly everywhere, like they call it as resume CV. Like some people like have resume also like consider as CV, but CV is like an like a detailed document which cannot be compressed in single one page and all. So that's a basic difference. But also there are like specific details you should mention in a CV, which we don't consider in a resume. So and then okay, and the difference between a product designer resume and UX UI designer resume, it starts with the role. Okay, as the name suggests, like UX UI, you take specifically interest about the user. The 100% you take care of with the user experience and user interface part. Whereas as a product designer, they have two extra roles to consider apart from user, which is business and technology. So their work will be like intersection of all these three. Like they also consider user, they also consider the revenue that they're gonna bring with their designs, and they also see the technology that is possible to implement their designs. So that's an additional role for a product designer. Uh, yeah. So why you should have a resume in the first place is that like it just opens you the door for an interview. Basically, if you see anywhere, like in order to have like it's the place like it's the one document that creates the first impression about you in the employer side. They get to know about in short before they get to meet you in person. Like people don't want to spend like an entire time like understanding you even before like not having an idea about you. It sets the idea, it sets the context. So it's like reading the preface or the context in the book of like the first page of every book, right? That's how the resume works in terms of evaluating an individual. So we will see the information architecture. So for example, like mostly documents are read in like two formats. One is the Z pattern. As a listeners, you also would have read about it, like Z pattern. We try to read from left to right, and then we go to the second line, and then to the third line, like then Z format. Or else people read it in the F format. So they read it first, and then they go like important to the lines, and then they read the another line. So it's like a skimming and scanning way of doing it. So like most importantly, they go from top to bottom and what is the order. So what should be very important that should be at the top. And as it goes down, like the less important stuff that goes down, because like you got only 45 seconds in average to make a better impression. Like after even after it passes the ATS system, I'm saying. So in the header, try to have your full name. Okay. As a beginner, you should either have your degree or else like the role you are applying for. What you want to become, like a design intern, a junior product designer, the role that you're applying for. That should be your next thing. And then the location, it's very important that you should mention because sometimes in ATS filters, in ATS tools, the HR recruiters like try to put it as a filter and see like who are all from Chennai, who are all from Bangalore, because I don't want them to offer a relocation package or like a secondary thing. They can also omit it. And then phone number and email, it's very important. And then it's good to have your LinkedIn, okay, or else like you better create one. Second is your profile summary. Try to highlight all the achievements you have done or else the skills that are relevant to the role that you're applying. For example, you might have learned something about like being empathetic, like having conversation with users, doing research. These are your skills, like soft skills and hard skills. Like you can highlight those and put it there, or else the achievements you have done as an individual in your college or in your some freelance projects during your college time or unpaid works. Try to highlight it and put it in your profile summary. Most importantly, it should convey your present and future. Like try to have like less about your past, because like the past is going to be in the entire document. Your education, work experience, those are your past, right? So in the profile summary, try to have the present and the future, like what you are now, what you want to become. So and then the education part, like in the education tab, you try to have like the institution name, the passing year, which discipline, like B CSE, BIT, BTech IT specifically, and then highlights and achievements. Like if you have taken care of anything during your college time, or else you attended some symposium or events or some other projects you did, or some international like national level competitions. Try to highlight in your education section itself, and then work experience. As a beginner, you might not have uh, much of an work experience. That's like well understood. So what you can add here is like if you have done any freelancing project, or else if you have taken any unpaid works, or did something for a relative, somebody who gave you a task to create a website or a mobile app design, something like that, you can add it there, and then try to mention your role, like what did you do there, and then what was the timeline of the thing, the project, and then which location, and then highlights and accomplishments. Like if you have achieved something out of it, if you have learned something new, or else if it got you some awards and accolades in that, like try to put it there. And then skills are like very important. It's like very neglected one. Like you simply put, I know, um, people basically say they know good in writing, they add some Excel, those kind of skill sets like very common. Okay, but being a designer, try to have minimum like 20 to 30 skills that are relevant to the role, which means like I know heuristic evaluation, I know chord sorting, I know what is information architecture, like just comma separated values, put it under categories. So in design stage, what are the skills you have, like what are the tools you know, and then in research thing, like what are the things you know. So specifically put it in that way. And then the footer is like an you can have your courses and certifications. Okay, and it's not mandated that being a designer should have a course or certificate, unless you can your work can prove how good you are a designer. Like course and certifications doesn't matter. Second, if you know any other language, multiple languages you speak, so you can add it there. And then interest, like what like the interest that you have, that you wanted to do, like other outside design, what you do, like music or writing blogs or like journaling content. And then your website URL, it can be a basic a bitly short URL, or else a specific site URL, or even a Notion page link. You can put it in an URL, like URL shortener, and then add it there, like portfolio website, and make it as a hyperlink. Okay. And some companies, like back then when I was in college, there was a mandate that like when you apply for a company, like some MNCs expect you to sign so that they can have it as a proper document. You have said like you agree to whatsoever you have said it in your resume. So that's an optional thing. Check whether the resume requires it. Okay, only if it is required, like use it. So let's see what are the optional stuffs. So optionally, like what are the things you can add is like about the volunteerism, projects you have done, and then your hobbies. So in volunteerism, you can say like you have been a part of a design community, you organize some event in your college, or you've been in head of committee of some other event or some other club in your college. So you can add that. And then projects like your case study projects also you can have, or else your final year project you can have it here. So just put it as like an one line what the project is all about, and then the title, your role, and if possible, try to add the outcome. So with that project, like what you have achieved, or like what has helped you do that. And then in hobbies, like be very specific and be honest. So when you say you like to read books, try to mention like what type of books you like to read. And when you say like movies is your hobby, like try to specifically mention, like even surfing internet, specifically mention, okay, I surf about this type of content, NFTs, Web3. So those are my interests. Like try to be very specific on that. That also helps you, like as one of the keywords. Um, is there any questions? Okay. Okay. So I don't see there. Yeah, we will see, Mohan, like how to create a cover letter for a resume. So far, any questions like we can quickly address here? Cool. So you don't have a design background, fine. Even I don't, and then no experience in design for now. It's a good start. I did a diploma in graphic design and doing Google Certified UX Professional course. What should I put in my resume? So you have a lot of things to do. Try to complete the course as early as possible. Okay. So you have the header covered, profile summary you can do, education you can do. In the work experience, during the course of your UX course by Google, right, there will be multiple projects in between, multiple tasks. Okay, you can take it as a side project, and you can also mention it as an unpaid works or an a basic work, either in the work experience side, or else you can put it in the project section specifically. Okay, when you get any work out from there, like you can try to add, but mostly try to put it in the project section. And then skills, you already know, like as an UI UX designer, if you want to try to put it as an UI UX designer, I gave you some examples like heuristic evaluation, chord sorting, um, information architecture, UI designing, prototyping, rapid prototyping, illustrations. You can skill sets. And the footer, you have one course already. And if you know multiple language, try to add interest you can add. And for website, I'll suggest you like anybody trying to create your very first portfolio, if you are not ready to invest to have a domain name specifically for you, go for a subscription model like Squarespace, Wix, or anything as such. Go to Notion, learn Notion. Okay, it's very simple tool. Create a page and make it as in publicly accessible. Like it's like your Google Docs only when you share with everyone, right? Like a Google Docs, if you all know. Try to share your Notion page and share, copy that link, put it in a bit.ly URL shortener. Like whatsoever I'm saying, like if it is like very new to you, just Google it. These are like very small stuff. Like you can learn it in 1 or 2 minutes. Okay, making a Notion page public, it's easy, and then converting this and big URL into an bit.ly URL. That's also you can learn from online. Put it there, and then you have your website ready. Because like anytime you go and customize it, the recruiter who is going to see your Notion page, they also get to know it. So in volunteerism, start interacting, like start joining any Slack channel, Discord channel, just Google it. What are the design communities available? Try to be part of ProApp community. And then also you can say like, okay, organize an event if you're ready to organize some events or being a part of event, like try to put in your volunteerism projects. You might be, it's an optional thing. You still have it. Anything as specifically how to create cover. Okay. Okay, coding skills important for a UX designer. Okay, if you see like coding skills important for UX designer, like basically it's not, but it's good to understand how tech works, how coding works, because like there is a very important stage when you are like not getting it, like before getting into the design industry, you will not be exposed, like nobody would have been teaching you this. There is a stage called uh, design handoff. Okay, that's the very last stage. Whereas like here you simply mention your testing, evaluation, or else just key learnings, your case studies. Like that's the very last stage, right? After doing the prototyping, you show like what are the testing done, evaluation done, or the key learnings from the case study. But there is a very important stage called design handoff. Basically, whatsoever you designed, you have to explain the developer so that they can build it in exactly the pixel perfect design. Okay, so it's good to understand how HTML works, like the front end of front end technology in your company they're using, right? It can be HTML, CSS, like React components, anything. You should have a basic knowledge about it, how it works. So with that, like you can build a very better design system. So it can also help the developers build it in a better way. So it's important to understand. It's not like coding is very important. And then what are skills one should have? Please, can you list out few so I could take a note. So I have a list of keywords and skill sets like at the end. I'll be sharing it with you. So need not worry. Is there any other question specifically? Great. Okay. So yeah, we'll see what is in cover letter. So cover letter is also it's a supporting document to your resume. It says like apart from using resume, even if you create a resume for like one resume for 3 other companies, like cover letter is like a very specific document that is like you are saying like why you want to work for that company, what you saw in that, and how you see yourself like growing along with the company. Okay, you should open a strong and set a stage for yourself. Like okay, this is what I am doing currently, and I believe so. Like whatsoever I'm doing outside, if I can do it for the company, it also increases this and this value for your company, and also have a growth for me. So you can talk about it, and then you should do some research about the company and say what you like about what they are doing already. It's not like you're gonna lie, it's gonna like support what they're already doing. It shows that way. And then you can use a simple cover letter template, and then end with and focus about the future, like how you see you working there, and that would help both, like how it will be become a mutual win and win situation for both. So I will say it again. So you say like what you're already good at first, and then how that can add value to the company. Okay, and then complement any good thing that you researched about the company, and then say like how it will look in the future, like when you work for the company. Okay, it's specifically about the company. Some people might do, but I don't suggest this practice. They just create one cover letter and just simply change the company names. But there is an important part, like you complement one good thing they are doing. So it's better to do your own research and figure it out. For the cover letter, you can download, like I will share the resource at the end, so where you can get that cover letter templates and create your own. So any questions in this? Is it mandatory to have a cover letter? So it's not a mandatory thing to have a cover letter, because like in the application form itself, when you apply for a company, if you're just sending a cold email, it's always better to send it along with your cover letter, because you don't know the expectation of the recruiter. But when they say in the application form, cover letter is a field, and then they expect you to add one, you should have. Or else if they say like cover letter in brackets optional, it's not a mandatory field at all. You need not have a cover letter. Like you need not submit a cover letter for it. This changing background, how can I use the knowledge and value? Need to search for job. Thank you. I think we can address this at the end, maybe. See, everything you have done in the past, it's just like making a dot. Okay, I did electronics and instrumentation. Like others here, like would have done some other engineering that you have placed a dot, and that brings a different perspective when you meet other people from like different background. Let's say a person worked in a mechanical engineering, understands the 3D concepts well. So when I'm working on a 3D design, he adds more value than me because he already understands how the 3D access works in design, so he can help me with understanding the 3D objects in design. Okay, so you have to figure out like what are the learnings that you can bring from a different domain. So you said like industrial engineering, right? So what are the learnings that you can bring? You have to figure it out. Okay, what are the things that you can implement in your design career in future, and then start working towards it. Like one example I gave, like mechanical engineering people have very good understanding about the 3D concepts, like mechanical people especially, and automobile engineering as well. So you have to figure out like how it works. I haven't had a much conversation with an industrial engineering people, so or else I would have given a good example that relevant to you. Any other questions on that aspect? Do you need a cover letter even if you're applying for? So if they ask for a cover letter, even if for an internship, it's mandatory. But I don't think like for an internship, like people ask for cover letter. It's like an intermediate or like a fresher role. It will be like for an internship, like you just need a resume and some promising projects in like under work in progress. So yeah, like this is just a self-explanatory image. You can understand what is an ATS. Okay, applicant tracking system. Basically, your application, your resumes will go into a system, and then it scraps out all the data and figure out like what's the education background of yours, what's the contact info, what's your work experience, and what's your skill sets. So it has all the parameters now. Instead of HR like going through multiple resumes, like the resumes will be put into a system. Like don't visual this literally, but just in software, like an online software. And then as it goes, like the system decide which one to trash and which one to give it to the recruitment manager or the hiring manager. So it gets to decide because like when it gets over with the resume, it says okay, your resume is 70% match, or else not to you, like the to the HR it says okay, this resume from Sandeep is then 70% match with the job requirement. Resume from Rahul is like 50%. Which one you want to pick? So HR like don't want to go with the guesses because it is data backed, right? So they will go with the 70% thing. So I'll quickly show you an example how this actually works. So let's go to, this is a free tool. You can go like jobscan.co. If you want to spend your time like making a note of this, you can do, but I will also be sharing at the end. So in this website, if you scroll down in the middle, you see upload your resume. Uh, I have my resume. I just open it here. I have to do it again once again. It should. Cool. So my resume is uploaded now, and I have to paste in job description. I can go to LinkedIn, figure out any job profile and like job posting, and get the roles and responsibilities copied and paste it here. Or else I just simply go with any sample templates here. Uh, let's go with some. I don't see a product designer here. There is no product designer, so I will just go with UX engineer, sorry, design engineer jobs responsibility. and then I'll give a scan. This is how like basically the backend also works. Like in the ATS applications they use in the company, your input will be your resume, and they have this pre-coded like these job descriptions. And when they scan, it gives a result stating how much percentage your resume is matching with the requirement. So even before applying, you can also do a check um, with this software. Let's say I think it will be very low. It's like completely irrelevant. Yeah, as it shows, it's low. Show me later. So if you log into this tool, like I haven't logged in yet. I haven't logged into it. So if I log in, it gives me like even more information, whether the title is matching, because I don't have a relevant title. I have used product designer, but it's asking for design engineer. So I don't have a relevant title. So that's the reason it shows red. You can see it from here. Okay. And the education doesn't match. If I have applying for a product designer, it would have been like even it would have been not matching because like I'm from B electronics instrumentation. This requires an design degree. So when you sign up for an account, it shows like these are the skill sets that the job description is expecting, or they have mentioned like multiple times, but I haven't mentioned this in my resume, not even once. Okay. And soft skills, what are the things the company has mentioned, like in the job resume, job responsibilities, but I haven't mentioned nothing in my resume. So I have to go back to my resume, edit using these words. So I think one of you asked like, what are the important skill sets I should add? It depends upon the company. The company expects these skills you should be having, so you should have it this way. And then you can have an word count, like a perfect resume should be between like, we'll see the tips and tricks. So it should be like 450 to 600 words. In some ATS tool, it depends. It prefers to have, because if it is a senior role, it goes to 2 pages. It is accepting until 750 words like that. So make use of this. This is one. I'll be sharing like multiple at the end. Just an example. I believe like this gives you a clear picture how ATS basically works. And for Okay. Yeah. And for the recruiters, they have an interface. They can simply go and search for a word and then pull out all the resumes that are having that word or relevance. And then they have a very powerful filter. They can select the location. They can see the experience level. They can have their title, and then they get only those 10 resumes, and then they forward to the next round. So they either trash it or they'll have it in the system. So you understand the concept, right? Like how it the reason why you're not getting any response from a company when you apply for, because like your resume didn't pass the ATS. Yeah. Okay. And do you have any questions so far, like to understand this ATS? So that, because we'll be seeing like what you should be doing, what you should not be doing in ATS. If you want me to repeat, I can make you understand like what an ATS is. Like you can use some other softwares like which are available for us to have a check before applying, which means it's going to be in trial and error method. You see a job posting, you want to get a job in there, try to copy paste the job responsibilities, put it in job scan, and upload your resume, the resume that you created specifically for that role, and then see the match. If it is more than 70, you are good, you can apply. You have a chance standing, because like if job scan gives 70, it will be between 60 to 80% in other ATS applications that they are using. Any questions? Cool. I think there isn't any. We can go. Cool. Let's go for the next. So what you should be doing and what should not be doing here. Okay. So when you're creating an ATS friendly resume, okay, more than even if you have a template, you better try to follow these things. Take a screenshot of this, like if you want. Okay. Don't like maximize the font size like more than 11 or 12 pixels. Limit to 11 and 12. If you are having a heading, try to have 14. Okay, that's the maximum pixel size like you should be having. And then the line spacing should be like either 1 or 1.15. Use as 1 for like within the lines, and then 1.15 for like the paragraph spacing. Do not use any images, illustrations, pictures, QR code, graphs, charts, special symbols, anything as such, because you believe that would look good when somebody sees on your resume. But in order to somebody sees your resume, it has to pass through an ATS. ATS doesn't like any of these. It understands only black and white, and it understands only text. Because if you see like your resume would have, I think I forgot to show you this. Did I close this tab? No, I didn't close. So here it shows for me how my resume is broken. into multiple words. There is a way I can see. Mm, yeah, I think here I can see. So it was in the previous update when I used this for last year. Like there is an update when you upload your resume, you get to see uh, all the keywords that it got from your resume, so that you can understand whether the words are like properly aligned or like they get broken. The reason like I will ask you to create this in a Google Docs or in Word editor, like Microsoft Word editor, because that has a very rich text encoding formats. If you use Figma, Adobe InDesign, Adobe Illustrator, Adobe XD, Photoshop to create your resume, try to upload it in this thing, and you will understand why you shouldn't use those design softwares for creating your resume, because that even like past like 10 or 20, 15 percentage, because those softwares doesn't have the rich text encoding formats. Because like you should use a text tool to have a proper text document, like PDF resume is a text document. So try to follow that. So we will see like in detail. So try to avoid all the images, special characters, charts, anything that makes it like the aesthetics part of it. Okay. And then your resume should be easy to copy paste from your resume, like in a PDF. Okay. If you create it from any design tools, it will be tough for you to copy paste. Every character will be broken into individual vector if it is out from a design software. So try to use any Word document and convert them into PDF. That will be easy to copy paste for the HR. It will be easy for them too. And try to avoid spelling mistakes. There are multiple tools available like Grammarly, WordTune. You can avoid the spelling mistakes, typos, everything, because it will look like very how to say, like you are not serious about it. Like when applying for a job, you should be very serious. Like if you are doing spelling mistakes, and they tend to have a picture. Okay, if I hire this guy, guy gonna do the same spelling mistake in his work as well, and I ask him to do a design documentation. So don't try to get an impression with a spelling mistake, and don't try to avoid like more than 17 words in a sentence, because it will be tough for an AT system or also for a recruiter to read. And have like 1 inch margin in all the four sides, like for all the sections. Okay, you can see it in the Word document or in Google Docs easily, like how the scaling has been done. So try to have a common scaling. Mention your current city so that the recruiter can search based on your location. So city can also add in value when they filter out the resumes through like by location. And try to have action verbs and avoid repetition to like create an impact. For example, uh, when you say like in your experience, like in your freelance project or something, I designed a website. So that's just a verb. Being a designer, you are expected to design. Okay, I designed a website that improved that increased the client revenue by 10%, that increased the user engagement by 15%. Some action oriented verbs that helps you stand out as a designer, because everybody knows you design an app, you design a website, you provide a solution, but something adds some metric that also helps. Okay. And then skills keywords related to the job that are like very important. Like don't try to stuff all like 50-60 keywords that you got from online. I will show you some websites like zeti.com. There are lots of websites to get some soft skill keywords, hard skill keywords, or resume based keywords, or a designer resume based keywords. So don't try to stuff it in one resume and expect the resume to work for all the companies or all the job. Try to limit it, and also like put it relevant ones only, because like in the job scan you will get to understand whether it is relevant or irrelevant. Is that 10 question? Okay, cool. We will see like what are the tips and tricks. So tips and tricks is to stand out, because like if you're applying for like 1,000 people, the chances are like 10%. Is like you have to be in top 100 to get a chance to be in the first round of interview. So try to have your LinkedIn profile URL. Okay, you can refer my LinkedIn profile, because that is like specifically created as a designer. Try to add all the sections as possible. Try to add your website in your LinkedIn. Have a featured section. You can add your projects in the featured section. Like record everything that you have done in LinkedIn. Like even if it is a project, a course certification, or some internship you got, like even for a month, try to have it there. Okay. And then use relevant keywords and optimize. As I mentioned earlier, use only the relevant keywords that works for the company, and then optimize in the sense like reduce as much as possible. It's a typo for me. And then use measurable metrics in work experience section. So as I mentioned, so when you're saying like I designed this, I worked on this, try to have an measurable metrics, what it has improved. So So when you can say, Sandeep, I don't know because I created this project and hand it over to my client or to the freelancer, or it's an unpaid project. I didn't saw any value in it. So maybe you can ask some feedback from your friends and ask how the experience would have been, whether they'll be using the if the app has been designed in this way, they'll be using it in daily. So you can say, okay, the engagement would be increased on a daily basis. So that those are also measurable metrics. Okay. And then again, don't exceed 475 to 600 words. It's a sweet spot with all the ATS tools out there. And then try to avoid buzzwords like solopreneur, intropreneur, something that you are not aware of, like not having much knowledge about. Because those are the mistakes I have done, but that doesn't affected me in, back at that time. But in the longer run, it affects me, saying like what I've done in the past. So try to avoid them, and then check whether the company is asking they need a resume in Word document format, or is in like which format they're expecting the document to be, PDF or anything they are mentioning. Okay, don't go for this JPG or PNG file formats and all. That doesn't work at all. Okay, and then yeah, so you have to say in your work experience also, this is just a template. Accomplished X measured by Y by doing Z. So I accomplished 50% engagement measured by Google Analytics tool by doing an user research. So you can use this as a template and put it in your experience section, like specifically. It not need not be for your design experience. It can also be like a college project or an independent project. You did something that worked well, and how did you measure it? You can also skip the part like measured by, okay, because you might not aware about the tools that you use to measure, like accomplished X by doing Z. Try it as an template. And then summary of qualifications, highlighting key achievements, like this we already discussed. Try to summarize in a simple way. If you are like not finding a good way to have a profile summary at the top, try to have this. Or else you can showcase your skills that are in line with the position, in the sense like as a junior product designer, like if you're applying, what are skills you already have that says like, okay, you are a right fit. So try to have that in your profile summary. So any questions in this so far? Hey, thanks, Afif, for sharing this LinkedIn thing. You can also check out like how it can help you. Any questions so far? Like, if not, like we can proceed. Cool. Yep. So yeah, so let's make it some fun. I will show you how my resume journey has been. Okay. So this was my very first version, where back in when I was in third year of my college, or final year of my college. Yep. So I added everything that is possible, like name, like some cliche words, everything, like QR code for my LinkedIn profile, icons like that are not even relevant. Like people even give a damn about it, like having icons like Twitter icon. Like I was not even having one follower back then. Okay, and then I stopped with all the things that I know, like what did I do, like creating a website, hosting it, like whatsoever like seemed big to me back then. I added everything. So for software proficiency, I mentioned like about OS packages, languages, like so this is what I said. Like back then in college, like we had this thing, like you have to mention the date, place, and then your signature when you apply for an internship. It depends upon the city, and then the like what type of tier that comes under, like tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 cities. So it's up to you. And then I created some microchips, so to say about my personality traits, I don't even know, like these are like some keywords I really wanted to add. So I liked it and then I added it. Okay. And then education comes very at the last, like nothing at the top, like education comes at the last, and then areas of interest. So if I see like I am not even doing any of these right now, like it just like 2019, 2022. Yeah, 3-year-old resume. I'm doing anything relevant to this. Okay. So yeah, this is one, and then this is an updated version. My friend tried to give it me in an updated version by creating this in a Word document, and this is even more updated version. Removing the QR code and then changing some content inside, adding stuffing more even more content. Okay, and then this is like 1 year back, or 1.5 years back, like last year around May, I was having this resume. So this is the way like you understand some aspects of design, and you throw whatsoever you liked about learning while learning design into a design. Okay, in your designing your resume, I created like an illustrator component for my image, some irrelevant font pairing, and then icons, like a journey kind of thing. Like nobody like this resume, like when I checked, it was like having like 4% of 5% relevance to the job profile that I was applying for. Okay, too much colors, too much distractive, like using red color, everything. Okay. So I was like having like multiple, like I want to get into product management, and then I want to do product design, multiple stuff. Okay. But it was like a career design, like what to choose between. So this I was after learning a lot from designers, like what is minimalism, like what how to convey things in a shorter thing, like which I liked a lot. So this was like after like later part, like how I created my product design thing. So I'm a T-shape designer, so I wanted to convey it in a graph, a chart kind of thing, and then putting my work experience, like what are the things I have done, like how many projects I have worked on, um, full of illustrations, like icons, everything. So even if you see like my level of understanding in language, I also put it this way, like skills like categorized, a journey specifically. So everything I kind of like can draw it out. So I don't want like it's just not just to like make fun. It's also I don't want you to be in these situations like as you grow. Okay, because you will come across these ideas, might not be exactly the same. You might end up having something like this. I want you to avoid these stuff in a longer run. Okay. So this was like a 2-page resume, and I brought it down to 1 page, and it's even more worse, like different font sizes. It's not that I regret it right now. It's like I don't want others to commit it as a mistake. So you can also avoid it. Okay. So this is also one of my favorite design templates that I've created. Okay. If you see on the whole, it looks good, everything neat. Might be at least to my eyes, it looks good, but it doesn't pass the ATS. Okay, these are like I create. So I forgot to mention. So this thing created on Photoshop, this thing in Google, Microsoft Word, and this is in Microsoft Word. Everything is in Figma. These things in Figma, and these two are also in Figma. What's the problem with design tools is that so when we have the words and it goes to a second line, right? So these words get broken, and the words will be how the keywords will be generated. I will show you. Product owner, product roadmaps, heuristic evaluation, wireframing, because those ATS like followed like a Z pattern. Okay, so it's good. Like, please do not break your resume into two halves. Okay, it's not a good practice. And then I can show you how my current resume works. How sorry looks. Can see the navigation yet. One second. Yeah. So this one passes like 70% more for an job role that I currently have. So this one passes exactly. I will show you the template how to create this one. Okay. So my name, my role I wanted to, location, mobile number, email, and then I have like a business email ID because when I started doing freelancing, I wanted to look promising. So I had this. It's you can have your Gmail ID. My LinkedIn account, try to have a LinkedIn custom name after the slash. Okay, it will be a random name generator. Go to settings, figure it out because it's in Google. You can just simply search it in YouTube as well. How to have a custom name in LinkedIn, custom URL in LinkedIn. You can have it. So I mentioned like about my current and what I wanted to do in the future, my past experience, like 1 year, like 2 years, what I did, like as an innovation strategist. Role name was different because like my role was like taking part in product and design as well. So I specifically mentioned only about design, volunteerism, the freelance I did, education, skills, tools, projects, interest. It's also a bit overwhelming, but if you see, I didn't break the resume into two half, even if it is 2 page, that's fine. And everything is like an keyword oriented. Like if you see, like it's like data oriented. Okay, measurable insights, so it passes it. And then even within here, like you can see the keywords that I have used. Okay, and specifically mentioned. So here is like a chunk of skill sets and keywords. You can take it from here because these are the common keywords. They put it in expectations or responsibilities under roles and responsibility of an requirement. You can also take it from here if you want. Take a screenshot, or else you can go to my website and find like resume tab. You can simply type sandeepbaskaran.com and figure it out from here. Like take it out from here. Yeah, so this is how like my current resume works, and also like I try to prefer the same way, like working on the second version of it, like maybe I need if I need one in future. um yeah, before I go to the usual like a template, we will see what's please explain third point. Okay, what is T-shape designer? I think you mean by third point here is this one, or here the third point. Can somebody say that? Which page it is, like do's and don'ts or tips and tricks? Mohan, can you hear me? Okay, I'll make it simple by explaining both. So in do's and don'ts, like easy to copy paste from your resume. So if you have seen, like when I highlighted my resume, it was easy to copy and paste it in a place. So if somebody wants to copy an information about you, in some small companies, they try to have a centralized database in an Excel format. They open up your resume and copy your name, copy your contact details, and put it here. If you upload it as a JPG or something else, they cannot able to copy and paste it. So try to avoid this. So it should be easy to copy and paste. So use measurable metrics in work experience section is that. So when I say like I designed a product and that help the clients or customer to increase their revenue or increase their user engagement or increase their performance by so and so value, that's the measurable metrics in your work experience section. Because everybody knows as a designer, you design something, but with that design, what does it value it added? In scenario where the company doesn't share the metrics, what to do? Can we fake it? It's not you should fake it. You can have a chat with them and then see. Or else, in the first place, when they asked you to design, they would have given you a goal. I want to improve this, and I need a website for this. So you can add like it improved it, because when they accept your design, basically it should have improved it. For example, on freelance client came to you and say, I want to improve the user engagement. Try to create a gamified onboarding form for me. Okay, you worked on a project, went through multiple iterations, and then at one point he accepted it, which means his goal is like achieved now. So you can say created an user onboarding form with gamification added and increased the user engagement rate. You know, it's specifically mentioned like 10%, 20%, you can say, because that was the goal, and he or she wouldn't have accepted it if they have like if you are not if you haven't achieved the goal in the first place. Okay, so that's one. Third point is explain what is a T-shaped designer. Okay, like when you learn about like design, right? You try to come across this term called T-shaped designer, pie-shaped designer, X-shaped designer, I-shaped designer, which means as a beginner, you will be a generalist. Generalist in the sense you take part in all the stages of a design process. You do the research, you do the ideation, you do the wireframing, you do the UI designs, you do the prototyping, you do the testing, you also do the dev handoff. So for 2 years, while working on all the stages, you would have figured out like which one works well for you and which is very important to you. Okay, let's say Sandeep, like I have been doing design for the last 2 years, but I figured out doing research or being empathetic to the user. That is my very key strength. People have said, and I also see a value in it. I want to pursue that. So I'll be specializing in it. So which means you know all the 6 stages, but you also want to go deep dive into one stage, like user research. You start understanding case studies. You go through like even if you can also do a master degree to do it, or else try to pick up some case studies or projects. Only specifically limiting yourself to do user research alone, like UX research of the product alone. So at that stage, like you can say, okay, I'm a T-shaped designer because all other things I know, that's an T-shaped designer, and there is like X-shaped designer. You have an vertical and there is another vertical. Let's say you are a designer and you are also a product manager. You have this concept, and there is like one point which is very common in that, like an ideation thing or like coming up brainstorming. That's very common. So that makes you an X-shaped designer. A pie-shaped in the sense like you also have another pillar, so it looks like a pie. So let's say you also very good in UI designing and at the same UX research, but all other stuffs you already know some basic level. You can handle it. You can replace someone if there is a requirement. That's an pie-shaped designer. There is an I-shaped designer. Like if you are interested, Google it. You will learn even more like what I have said right now. Okay, okay, and then I work a startup. It's very hard to get these metrics, and there won't be any specific role. They just give the project, and we jump directly to high activities and due to short deadline. It's better you find some other very good job like with a company that understands the value of design, because if they expect you to do something, because they can replace you like the very next day. Anybody can do the design work you are doing if you're directly starting with an high fidelity design, because if you're starting with an high fidelity design, you already given some inspirations. I want something like this, create this, because anybody can do it. In that case, there should be a team, like a growth team or analytics team, which uses some softwares like Google Analytics or Clever Tab or some other tools, or else like some page metrics. There will be some basic page metrics. Check with the team how do they measure like everyday active users? Okay, you can ask for how many active users, because the login page we have or the dashboard page we have yesterday had 100 active users, daily active users like DAU or MAU, monthly active users. There are specific terms like you should also learn about this being a designer. You can ask, okay, what was that last week average and this week average? You can check with the team members. You can have it as a normal chat and then figure out like what it is. So you can put it as a measurable insights or the metrics. So my dashboard design improved the daily active users from 100 to 250. So that's a thing. Cool. So let's see. So you can also take a screenshot of this. This is the one I showed you in my resume, but this is limited in one page. You should have your full name, the role you are applying for, or the degree you have currently. Okay. And then try to have a proper profile summary. Okay. And then your work experience. And that you should mention the duration, like what from when to when, and what did you do, like an actionable items there. And then your education, it should be your college degree, 12th and 10th, which has been a mandate. And then your skills, you can categorize them and then drop it here like comma separated way, because those add values to your keywords when they search for you. And then volunteerism and the hobbies, if you want to add, you can add your projects, or else like if you don't have anything, remove it and then try to increase other stuff. Okay, you got a full page, so you can make use of it. And then your projects, as I mentioned, like independent projects that you have created or some pet projects. So as you grow as a designer, try to have a pet project, because like there's a concept called like creative block. People get to have this, or some people find it as an excuse to not to work. Okay, so when you're working on something, you get saturated. You might not get any new ideas to solve the problem that is existing in the product. Okay, let's say for me, like when I'm creating a card management system, it's basically a credit card management system, and I'm creating. My product manager was like saying like, okay, can we make it as pop? That's a very common statement, and so when you wanted to add value to it, like when they say, okay, how can I make it pop? Because my company design system doesn't allow me to use some other background colors that makes my design pop. That's a block for me. I couldn't think more. So when I have a pet project, I go and spend some other time there. And then that could also become a case study one day, or that can go as a simple LinkedIn post, or it can go as a dribble. It always have a value. Your pet project will always have a value. So I try to create it, and that helps you back to get some insights, ideas you don't know, like from where you will get an idea to make your current project work better. So you can have those pet projects here. And then your interest, try to be honest there and then be specific. And then at the last line could be your website link or some other page that you want the user to check. Could be a Behance link or a dribble link. So any questions in this template, I'll move my mouse pointer. You can take a screenshot. If you have any questions, like we can address it right here. I take it as a no, then we proceed. So yeah, these are some tools like you can use Google Docs and Microsoft Word to create your resume. And JobScan is one I showed you. Resume Worded is also another tool similar to JobScan. Zeti.com is the place where you will get all the keywords for your resumes. Okay, Wasber also another one. Resume Genius, Bloom, Jofibo, Nova Resume. These are like some template offering and some blog that are like specifically curated for like a role-based resumes. So you can take insights from there. Okay, and also, so I have kind of curated. If you go to this website, there will be nothing. So I have kind of curated a list of websites that can help you understand. Sorry, that will help you to create your resume better. Okay, a basic blog articles, templates, even for prepare for an interview. Okay, it's a list. So it just all I'm just going to ask is like, it's a chat. I think, yeah, I think I will put it for everyone. So when you fill this, as you complete, you can see like completion, like I have set it for a link that will take you to the link, and you can get all the resources from there. You can make a bookmark or open it in new tab, and you can make use of it from there. Yeah, now back to the presentation. Cool. So, so if you have any questions here until here, like we will address, and then we will see how to search for a job, like what the process should be. You should have a proper a process or a template in hand to do it. Any questions here? You can fill the form if you are filling it like anytime later as well. Any questions? That's a good thing. Like you already have a resume, which means like it's already a user-friendly resume only. You don't have colors, but it's a like very simple resume that people can understand what it's written, right? So it's always a win-win only. If you create something for a better version of uh, the worst part, like when you create something for the worst part, like even if it is a normal situation, your resume will pass. So or else you know well about the company, have done a better research. There is a person who likes very aesthetical resumes only. You can create a aesthetical resume and then send it to the person. Do we have to fill out the form before we get the resources? Yeah, if you fill out the form, like you will be automatically directed as you submit, you will be directed to that website. Ankita, I think Afif will have a solution for it. Cool. Let's get to the important part. Having a resume is not that like, of course, important, but there is like even more important stage, like how to search for a job. So if you're applying, like you can sorry, if you are like filling out the form, like you can fill out later. We will see how to search for a job. Okay. Yeah, make sure your LinkedIn is consistent with your CV or resume. Okay, whatsoever you have mentioned in your LinkedIn, it should also align with your resume. Which means like when you are creating your resume, try to go and update your LinkedIn accordingly. Okay, and then set alerts on the LinkedIn tab. Okay, for the job, like whenever there is a new opening from this company for this role, you get an alert. You can be one of the first person to respond to that thing. And then create a job board. Like say you can create an if I think everybody knows what is Google Sheets or an Excel sheet. Okay, create one. Try to have like a job board. I think I can show you a template how you can have one. I go to Notion. I think I have created one for. So you can create something like this. Like what is the title? What is the company that you like? And what is the priority that you wanted to apply to the company? What is the application link? Whether you applied it or not, you can mark it as a status. So or else you can also attach the resume with which resume you applied for it. Because like next day, if you're gonna appear for the resume like on one-on-one call, just go through the resume what you have said there. Okay, try to have it prepared, and then you can go and see which company that you want to get in. I think that helps. Yep. Yeah, and then yeah, you have to do your own research about the company. Try to understand about the company when they ask you, "Do you know what we do?" And don't say like, "Can you say about? Can you say what you guys are doing? Like, what does the company have? What are the products you have? What I will be doing there?" Don't ask that such questions. Like when they ask you to, like when they offer you a chance to ask the recruiter some questions, don't do that. Okay, be ready with the questions. Okay, you guys are doing this. How do you think it will when you take this to global market, how do you expect to approach it? Like how design can add value to your company? So try to ask such questions. Okay, and then review the official website, go through their YouTube, Twitter, Medium, and check their mobile apps if they have, and try to understand what they are doing. Okay, you have to give your 100% to be better at it, because you don't know, like these stuffs can help the like make the chances better in order to get the job. Okay, and then review the competitors. Just go to Google and then say, if you're applying for, let's say, company Swiggy, then say what is Swiggy is doing and what is Zomato is doing, and then who's having more revenue, whose design is good, who's having a good business team, how many years they have been doing, so what is the percentage between them. So try to do some competitor Google search on it, and connect on LinkedIn to people in the company on similar roles. So if you're looking for a designer role or internship thing, if somebody is already doing the internship, you can quickly find it. Go to the company on LinkedIn, you see the people tab, and you see like where they are from, where they've studied. You see next section, you see like people from industry. Go to arts and design, and you'll see all the people there who are doing what. So this person senior product designer, this person design manager, this person design intern. Go and give a connect request and send a custom note. Hey, hi. So hi, like XYZ. I am also applying for this role. I just want it would be great if we can have a quick chat about like uh, how the role is in this company. I just want to know about this. To say that, and if they are like, if you say it to 5 people, at least one might respond back, and then you can have a chat about like before applying. You can know how you can make it as a better chance of getting into the company. Research about the industry that you're getting into. So when I say if you're applying for Razorpay, try to understand how this online fintech or payment networks works. Try to understand multiple companies, and then you apply for it. Okay, and then contact the recruiter to get insights before applying, which means like when you see the roles and responsibilities when they post on LinkedIn, you see who has posted it or who is responsible for this hiring this role specifically. Go to them, like send a custom note, get an invite request, or send an email. I think you will have some free email request in LinkedIn. Send one, and then talk to them like what is this role about, like what should I be knowing to try to do this. These are like some effective thing that you should be doing instead of going to a company's career page or finding their email IDs or sending a simple LinkedIn form or LinkedIn easy apply. That isn't gonna make a big change. If you're lucky enough, you will get a job. But if you want to really put some hard work and see, there's also some sort of smart work. So the extended version, so it might look like an hard work to you. So any questions here, or we'll see like overall questions. Oh, sorry. Sheet wasn't visible. I think I will share specifically. Extremely sorry for it. New share to share my. Yep. I believe you can see my screen now. Notion screen. Can anybody say yes so that I'll get a confirm? Cool. So yeah. So this is a job board. The roles you want to apply for, you can say like junior product designer, something like that, and which company it is. Okay, I created this as a Notion because I got used with Notion for like my data oriented stuff and for design oriented stuff like Figma. Like even this presentation is in Figma. So try to use anything that you're comfortable with already. Okay, if you're comfortable with Canva or some Google presentation, try to use it, or else like a Google Sheets or Microsoft Excel. Try to use that. Okay, set the priority how important for you to apply for this job, because it says like only 30 days the job posting will be there. So try to add the link. Okay, this is like pre-planning. Okay, you also haven't keep track of how you are applying. So the role, the company, you can take a screenshot of it, or else you'll also get this in the recording, and then mark a status whether you applied for it or you didn't. So that you will have a track. Okay, did I apply for this company? No. So then when I apply for it, I just simply say applied. So I have a stage like applied, and then create a new like column and say it is what resume it is, like which resume you used to apply for this company. So add this PDF document. So when they specifically call, let's say like from GoPay, they call me, you have an one-on-one call scheduled, we have an interview for you. So you just go to the resume, whatsoever I said there, I will have a confirmation like what I have written specifically, because I have made the resume curated for that company role and responsibilities. I might have done a lot, like 10 items in my previous job, but those 10 items are not going to be completely relevant to the company. Out of 10, 6 will be relevant. So if I'm applying for a UX role, out of 10 items I did, only 6 are relevant to UX. So I just simply mentioned that aspects only. So if they ask me in detail, I have to be prepared so I can see the resume, which resume I used to do that, apply for that company. So this is one. New share, we go back to. Yep. What all software should I learn as a UX UI designer? So before like you learn softwares, you should know the craft. Okay, it's like, yeah, you should learn some concepts first. Okay, you should know what you wanted to do first, then only you can make use of a tool. Okay, you should have the objective is to nail on the wall. Okay, put a nail on the wall. Okay, you can use an hammer, you can use an a wood piece, anything. Okay, but you should know the objective, because like design comes with an objective and goals, and tools you can achieve with anything. Back then, like everybody used Illustrate, Photoshop for mobile designing, and then XD, and then Figma. So there will be evolution of designs will always be there. But in my personal opinion, if you want to bet on a design software, I would suggest you to go with Figma. Okay, learn Figma as much as possible. If you're spending 2 hours a day for learning design, give 50% to Figma. And I do understand something what to do in Figma for 1 hour or like 50% of my time. If you don't know, go to Figma's official YouTube channel, watch all the videos. If you have completed, see the suggested videos. Even if you're completed, take some screenshots from Dribble or Behance, that the designs you like, okay, and then put it in Figma. Try to recreate them. So I will show you like how I kind of like have a pet project. Okay. Uh, okay, I better share my entire screen. So I use this calendar app called Cron. Okay, I really like this designer. I'm a big fan of this designer called um, Rafael Shad. His name is like Rafael Shad. He's the founder, and this product has got acquired by. I think you guys can see my Cron calendar, or else you guys seeing something else. Can you say yes? Like if you're seeing my calendar, great. So like this is basically a Google Calendar kind of revamped or something redesigned. You can say like it looks simply like a Google Calendar, but it looks somewhat neat and minimal thing if I wanted to use it, right? So this improved my productivity and it was like very helpful for me. But I love this design, but I want to understand like what would have gone through the designer's head when designing this. So I took this as a pet project, okay? And then I worked on this screenshot. So this is a screenshot from the official website of Cron. Okay, you can see like I've added an image, just a screenshot. A few things I cannot do it in a serious project. When I work for my company, okay, I cannot try like when I'm something learning new. I cannot try go about the new variants concept. I cannot try the components because I don't want to mess up when there is a deadline. Okay. Whereas in pet projects, I can mess it around, like mess it and then play around with what so designs I wanted to create. For example, let me show you. Yeah. So if you see in real calendar, whenever I hover over it, the cron CRON gets highlighted. Okay. I didn't notice unless I saw this design here. Like there is like cron is the thing added. So I kind of experimented. I added like the components, variants, everything here. Like on hover, it should turn to this. And I created a design here exactly duplicating whatsoever mentioned, like inch by inch, like a pixel perfect duplication. And this helped me understand like the auto layouts. If you have seen like everything is an auto layout, I've used all possible auto layout functionalities. If you see like all the functionalities, I have used it like one way or another. Okay, so this helped me learn about the auto layout concept and also this animation part. So I was able to achieve. So in my Figma prototype itself. So this kind of stuff helps you uh, coming out of your creative block and also have an case study. So this thing can go as an one day it can go as a LinkedIn post or in my dribble something, admiring my uh, uh, like my one of my favorite designers work, something like that. So this will not go in waste, but it is a huge learning. So with this, like you can also practice. So you can do that part. And then what is the name of the calendar? It's Cron, CRON. It's an invite only calendar. I think they would have made it open now. Maybe you can check it out. There are multiple apps out there. You can take it from inspirations from anywhere. This is one. And yeah, we go back to the. Yeah, we go back to the questions. Like, do you have any other questions? So apart from like softwares, I think I have addressed. It will be a Figma. One thing I'll be betting on. Yep. Any other questions? Cool then. Then if you want to know more and have a one-on-one guidance with me on ADPList, it's a free mentorship platform. You can simply go and search on Google like Sandeep space ADPList. You will get the very first link. Like with Sandeep Baskaran, if it is not first link, it will be in second link. So you can book a free session and learn more about like how to make your resume better, or you can also get some feedbacks. Uh, uh, No, for the skills you have to go to the zeti.com. Like I have mentioned in the website, right? When you fill out the form, you go to a website, and that website, like, you'll have all the links to it.
Perfect.
I think that helps.
Yeah, that was great, Sandeep. I mean, I didn't even need to come on and take up the questions. You were very, you were very proactive there and took on the questions yourself. That's great to know. I mean, thanks a lot, everyone, for joining in. I hope all your questions were answered. If any of those were left, you can reach out to us, and we can ask Sandeep those questions on your behalf. And yeah, I mean, Sandeep, just to touch up a little on what you had lined up, there were some really interesting things to see, some things that usually people tend to, ignore. I mean, ATS was like one brilliant idea to, I think that solves so many problems in terms of people not able to understand whether this job description is fit for their resume or not. So I think that was a really great resource there. So yeah, thanks a lot, Sandeep, for such a great session. I think we will be having more of these sessions. I have had a discussion with Sandeep about this earlier. He has a lot to speak about. So yeah, stay tuned for that. We'll be cooking something very special. And I'm just dropping a quick link for you guys to leave us a review for ProApp. If you like this workshop, go give our application a spin. Have a look at what we have created. And yeah, thanks a lot. Thanks again for joining in. We will be seeing you next Saturday. We have all sessions lined up for this month and then a month after that. So yeah, thanks again everyone for joining in. Have a great weekend ahead of, and yeah, bye bye.